हेलो एंड वेलकम टू माय यूट्यूब चैनल। हमेशा एक बात याद रखना, आपके रास्ते में कुछ ऐसे भी लोग आएंगे जो ना खुद आगे बढ़ेंगे और ना आपको आगे बढ़ने देंगे। कृपया इन लोगों से दूरी बनाए रखें और अपना काम करते रहें एंड कीप ऑन वर्किंग। द टॉपिक ऑफ दिस वीडियो इज कैथोड रे एक्सपेरिमेंट। This is the diagram of cathode ray experiment. In 1897, J.J. Thomson had done this experiment to find the electrons. In this video, I will tell you how J.J. Thomson found the electron by this experiment and what is cathode ray experiment. Now look at the board. In this discharge tube, J.J. Thomson placed a piece of metal here and a piece of metal here with a hole at center. He joined this piece of metal with the negative terminal of the power source and joined this piece of metal with the positive terminal of the power source. At that time, nobody knows that the things that coming out from the negative terminal are electrons. This tube is filled with hydrogen gas. Yes. When he turned on the power source, electrons gathered in that piece of metal. By the excess of electrons, it become too hot that make it piece of metal unable to hold the electrons. So by the molecules of hydrogen, electrons travel like a beam in a straight line and hit the edge of the discharge tube. The edge of the discharge tube is coated with zinc sulfide. When that beam hit the edge of the discharge tube, there will come a bright spot. जब यह किरण डिस्चार्ज ट्यूब के छोर से टकराती है तो एक चमक उत्पन्न होती है. Now J.J. Thomson thought, what is that beam made of? The electrons is coming out of the cathode, so he said this beam as cathode rays. To know more about this beam, he placed a positively charged plate here and negatively charged plate here. When he placed these plates, then the beam of electrons bend towards the positively charged plate. The beam bends towards the positively charged plate. Now he replaced positively and negatively charged plate and put a magnet on discharge tube. After putting the magnet on discharge tube, the beam that coming out of cathode bend again, but in this direction. Forget that. In electric field, this beam bend towards a positively charged plate, and in magnetic field, this beam bend in this direction. By the conclusion that he got from magnetic and electric field, he said that the beam or cathode ray is made of something smaller than atom. He said that cathode ray or beam is made of negatively charged particles. He named that negatively charged particles as electrons. One more thing, this is a positively charged plate, then why it didn't attract electrons? The speed of electrons was too much that it could not attracted by the positively charged piece of metal. It will attract some electrons, but most of the electrons will go through this hole in a straight line. By this experiment, he said that the beam that coming out of cathode is made of electrons. And by this experiment, he also found the numerical value of charge of electron. J.J. Thomson found the numerical value of the charge of electron by measuring the deflection of cathode rays in electric and magnetic field. J.J. Thomson ने इलेक्ट्रॉन के चार्ज को इलेक्ट्रिक और मैग्नेटिक फील्ड में कैथोड रे के झुकाव को माप कर खोजा. For now, bye bye. In the next video, I will tell you what is Cathode Ray Experiment. मेक डिफिकल्ट थिंग्स सिंपल, कठिन चीज़ों को आसान बनाओ।